We invited Andrew Crapuchettes, founder and CEO of RedBalloon, back into the Economic War Room. And it's because, when I was exploring his site, I found this incredible survey of 60,000 freedom economy businesses. So they did a scientific review of those 60,000. They got, 1,200 or something who responded, and it's got very small margin of error. And I wanted to get the word out on this report because it talks about things that we talk about here all the time. For example, it lists that we have 34 trillion almost in debt and lots of global turmoil, and that's putting people kind of nervous and concerned. Where's the economy headed? So I wanted to dig into that survey. So Andrew, welcome back to the Economic War Room.
Thanks for having me.
Let's put on your best Family Feud voice, right? And the survey says, is the United States on the right or the wrong track?
It is overwhelmingly on the wrong track, according to these businesses, right? So this is the survey that we do. It's a joint project of RedBalloon and Public Square.
Two amazing patriotic companies.
And Michael and I have been good friends for a long time. We said, hey, let's do this project together because there's lots of these small businesses that are just kind of the forgotten man in our economy. They're just trying to keep their head down, focus on providing for their family, building their business, and so on and so forth. So we thought we need to survey them on a monthly basis to get their views out into the media. And honestly, it's been really fascinating because not just Fox News is of the world, but Fortune magazine and Forbes magazine, they're like, oh, we really want to know what these small businesses think. This is the freedom economy. It's a representative of this freedom economy. They are very concerned about the economy on a lot of different fronts.
So I'm looking at this. Is the U.S. on the right or the wrong track? There's almost nothing for strongly right track. Somewhat right track, neither right nor wrong track. A tiny fraction somewhat wrong track, and the vast majority in August and September say we're on the wrong track, and frankly, it's getting worse.
It is getting worse. And there's a couple of really interesting, I guess, kind of macro issues coming out of this survey, and I'd recommend you can go to RedBalloon.work/freedom economy, and you can read all of the information on this. But a lot of these small businesses they're concerned about the administration, inflation, and we can get into some of those things. They're worried about the Federal Reserve. They're worried about all those things. But then a lot of them are saying, but my business, I'm working really hard, and I think I'm optimistic about my business. And so what this survey is showing is this tale of two economies that we're seeing right now. We have the economy that is the blue states. It is the people who spend all their time doing DEI training and microaggression training, as we talked about in the last show. They're spending all their time doing that and taxes and regulation, and their economy is struggling, their businesses are struggling, and their quality of life is going downhill rapidly. Whereas you have this freedom economy. You have it in red states like Texas and Florida, Idaho, where I'm from, where you see these economies that are actually doing pretty well despite what's coming out of DC. And those businesses are doing really well. We talked to businesses at RedBalloon that are, they're booked for the next 6 months, and they're just trying to catch up with all the work that they have to do. And so it is really this weird, interesting tale of two economies we have, and that's part of what we're trying to capture.
But a complete validation of what you just said can be seen in the census data for the state of California, which you used to be from California, or New York. California and New York are losing people rapidly, and Florida and Texas are gaining people rapidly. I mean, people are voting with their feet. They're leaving these bad states, and also I think they're leaving these bad companies.
They are. And actually an interesting stat in California where I grew up. So there's a sector of the economy, they're kind of bellwethers of where an economy is going to go. It's people who are under 30 years old earning over $100,000 a year. There's not lots of people in their 20s earning a six-figure salary. But those people are generally going to be the leaders of the economy. They're going to build the businesses that are meaningful and going to move the needle on an economy. California on average has net 100-ish people of that category leave the state. In 2020, that was over 8,000 of those people left the state.
Wow.
These are people who are realizing that the policies, the taxes are going to kill their business, they're going to kill their opportunities, and they want to go somewhere where they're free. And we're conservatives. Conservatives don't like to move. We don't like to go somewhere new. We conserve.
Right.
We like to put down roots. We like to be somewhere. But I've talked to so many people from Boston and New York and Chicago who are like, we've been here for 3 generations and we're moving to Nashville. because we need to be free, and I need my kids to grow up in a free environment. Well, those are the hardest working people who are going to drive the economy in a totally different way, and a lot of them are captured in this Freedom Economy Index.
Yeah, no, it sounds like an Ayn Rand novel.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And John, where is John Gall, right?
Yeah, we're all going to a gulch somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, so here's another, the percentage of your respondents that believe the U.S. is headed into a major recession, it went up from July 60% to 70% in August and over 80% in September.
Yeah.
Is that still the feeling? Is that the economy overall is not doing well, even if your small businesses tend to do well?
Yeah, absolutely. These businesses, they're looking at the economy around. And the thing is, if you're in a small business, if you're in business, you understand economics better than most economic professors at universities.
No question.
You understand that you get money in, then you can put money out. And if that doesn't work, then you go out of business, right? The federal government doesn't understand that.
Nope.
Professors don't understand that. Small businesses are professors of economics, and they're looking at what's happening around them, and they realize my employees have to earn more money because they're paying a lot in gas, they're paying a lot in food, they're paying a lot in shelter, and so I have to pay them more. My supplies are significantly up. A lot of these small businesses do not believe the economic data coming out of DC right now, whether it's census data, whether it's BLS data, whether it's inflation data. They're like, I hear you saying that, but I don't believe it at all. And so that's why they're concerned, because they say no matter what the census or the BEA or the BLS say, they don't believe that data, and therefore they're like, I think we're actually in a far worse shape than any of the data is showing right now.
Well, and they see a political component because over 70% see the personal financial outlook is much worse since Biden took office. They see that politically, and that's impacting their hiring.
It is.
And so they're planning to hire to expand the team is going down. The plan to hire to replace existing openings has gone up, but a good number don't even plan to hire at all.
Right. I talked to a $500 million construction business yesterday who's working with Red Balloon, and he said, we've got plenty of work, but we're definitely terrified right now. We're in a wait and see moment because we don't want to lose our people. We've gone through the pain and anguish of hiring over the last couple of years, and it's been really hard to find people. We don't want to lose those people, but we're definitely worried about the geopolitical issues happening in Israel and Ukraine and the just idiotic things coming out of DC right now. That's going to have an impact, and so we're going to wait and see, and that can be a self-fulfilling prophecy. All the businesses wait and see. All the businesses like, well, let's find out what's happening. Well, lo and behold, that's going to drive an economic outcome as well.
So those are real problems. What do we do about them? We're going to have to take a break. When we come back, let's talk political solutions.
Yeah.
Some of the things that we can do in politics that might make a difference. In uncertain times, finding stability in the economy can feel challenging. But what if you could navigate economic volatility while honoring your biblical values? At Timothy Plan, they believe this balance is possible. Timothy Plan filters its volatility-weighted ETFs and family of mutual funds through a biblical pro-life and pro-family lens, so you can see competitive returns and moral responsibility, helping you to weather the economic storms. With Timothy Plan, align your investments with your values while adapting to our ever-changing culture. Since 1994, Timothy Plan has been recognized leader in biblically responsible investing. Timothy Plan, your bridge between faith, finances, and the future. Visit timothyplan.com or call 1-800-TIM-PLAN or 1-800-846-7526. Investing includes risk, including possible loss of principal. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at timothyplan.com.
I'm Kevin Sorbo. When you spend money, you consider who you're buying from and the causes they support. If you don't, then you're likely supporting companies that are trying to destroy our country and take away our freedoms. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. They're a cell phone company and a good one. They offer nationwide coverage on the best 4G and 5G networks along with 100% US-based customer support. But here's the deal. Patriot Mobile's mission has nothing to do with cell phones. They carry out their mission by giving back millions of dollars every year to Christian conservative causes that are actively engaged in the fight to save America. Voting is no longer enough to beat the woke. We have to band together, support like-minded companies, and vote with our dollars. That's how we win. Stop supporting companies that want to destroy America and join Patriot Mobile today by visiting patriotmobile.com or call 972-PATRIOT.
Andrew, I'm looking at the survey that you did with Public Square, two great companies, two great patriotic companies that want to help freedom-loving Americans. And it says 84% of the small business owners surveyed said that Republicans in Congress should refuse to raise the debt ceiling, period, and only 14.4% agreed with the eventual path that GOP leadership took. Republicans in Congress should negotiate for policy concessions before agreeing to raise the debt ceiling. So they disagreed with that approach. They felt like, period, don't raise the debt ceiling, because you said it in the last segment. Small business owners realize that if you spend more money than you take in, eventually you're completely broke and you lose everything.
That's right. That's right. And I think what also this is telling us is that the people in D.C. are so out of touch with the rest of the country, with the people who are actually driving our economy, who are employing Americans, who are building the businesses that are bringing goods and services to all of us. People in D.C. have no idea what it's like in that world. And so, yes, our businesses in this Freedom Economy Index, they said, do not raise the debt ceiling, get your financial house in order, and if you can't, we do not want just concessions, we do not want all of this craziness, just balance the budget. But we're going to hit maybe a little bit later, most of these businesses do not believe that anyone in D.C. will ever balance the budget.
Yeah, no, that's right here. It's almost 100%. Do you believe Congress and the president will ever act to reduce the national debt? That means a tiny fraction say yes. The vast majority say no. That's true, Republican or Democrat.
That's right.
It used to be, economists said, it doesn't matter. Modern monetary theory allows us to do this. That's hogwash. It's never been true. Even Warren Buffett, I'll call him out on this. He said, well, when your debt is in your own currency, it doesn't matter. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Buffett, you were alive when Jimmy Carter faced a debt problem and he had to borrow in Swiss franc and German mark.
That's right.
And right now, the dollar's under threat from the BRICS nations, from China. It is under threat. A lot of people, even Saudi Arabia, turning away from dollars. So, no, we have to address this problem, and there's no politician willing to take it on.
No, it's not. It's not a Republican issue. It's not a Democratic issue. It's not Congress or the House or the presidency. 97% of our small businesses do not believe that anyone has the fortitude, the courage, and the ability to actually ever, and we're not talking about paying off the debt. We're just saying actually have a balanced budget. Right. Let's just start with only spending as much money as we get in. Let's just start with that. They don't believe we can even get there, which means the national debt just continues to grow. And look, I think that there's, we could debate whether there's any room for a national debt. I would say I could see a couple of different ways. What I care more about is the percentage of the GDP that is spent on government activities and employees. That is actually crushing to an economy. I'm as worried about that as so if our GDP is $100 trillion and we're spending $1 trillion on we're spending 1% on the government, no problem at all. And that is less concerning to me. The debt is less concerning to me than how huge and bloated the government is, but both of them are very much going hand in hand and crushing our economy right now. Yeah,
there's no question. And in fact, I talked to the former chief of staff for DHS, and he said, do you realize DHS is larger than most nations in the world?
Yeah.
Just by itself.
Yeah.
And then you realize that the U.S. government as an employer is one of the largest employers in the world, and you realize that they are then lobbying to grow government so that they can grow their own power.
That's right.
It really does change the nature of the economy.
No, they're the largest employer. You think about it, if you're an employer, you've struggled, you see help wanted signs everywhere, even as the economy is a little bit rocky. Help wanted signs are still everywhere. And so you realize what the government is doing is they're using our money to compete with us for great talent. Then they go hire, there's been months where they're hiring 60,000 people in a given month, right? And they're using our tax dollars to compete with us for talent. And then these small businesses are starving for talent. It's really a bad situation.
It used to be, when I graduated from college in the early 1980s, the deal was if you want security and you want good benefits, but probably not a lot of upside, go work for the government.
That's right.
But if you want the opportunity to earn lots of money, go into the private sector where you've got a lot of freedom and you can earn a lot of money. And so I chose private sector. But now it's almost reversed. People in the public sector are being paid more than the private sector, plus all the benefits, plus all the guarantees, and you can't even be fired in many cases.
No, you can't be fired. And Nancy Pelosi didn't build her 9-figure net worth from her 145 or whatever it is, $1,000 a year salary. So it's a gross situation. Obviously, what I'm encouraging businesses to do, especially in this freedom economy, is look, take care, be responsible for where you are, take care of your business, take care of your family, and then go out and vote. And don't be afraid of who you are. That's the other thing, is so many of our conservative friends, they self-censor, they just kind of keep their head down. I'm going to protect my money, I'm going to be careful. And we need people who are brave and are actually willing to speak up, because when you're brave, you give courage to everyone around you. And so we need more of that.
If we all silence ourselves, they'll eventually come and get all of us anyway.
100%.
It's that old adage, well, they came for and I said nothing, and then they came for and I said
exactly
nothing, and then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me.
That's right.
That's what we're, all right, so here's some of the concerns also. The size of the national debt hurting your business directly, the overwhelming yes. Inflation is no longer an issue for me and my business. Strongly disagree.
Yeah.
Families and consumers are still hurting from inflation. Strongly agree with that. People think that the consumer in this Christmas season is going to be hurt. It will be much less than average. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, this is, I think, really interesting, because obviously the Christmas season, and I'm a huge fan of Christmas, the Christmas season is where a lot of these businesses make it into the black. Like, okay, fine, now I'm actually profitable for the year.
That's where they get Black Friday.
That's where they get Black Friday from, right? Because it's like, I'm finally in the black for the year in December, like last month of the year, which tells you it's a hard business to be in if you're in the retail space. But a lot of our businesses are saying, we are strapping in for a very poor Christmas season. We think that consumers don't have the money because they're spending it on gas, they're spending it on eggs and milk and bread and shelter and interest rates. If you just got yourself a home and you're paying 8% interest for your mortgage, there is nothing left to buy a delightful Christmas for your family, which means that's going to hurt the businesses in this freedom economy who are trying to sell their goods and services. They're trying to get to Black Friday.
Right.
And so most of these businesses are saying, this is not going to be a Christmas season to write home about, which is very sad.
Yeah,
because
and the stock market doesn't seem to be reflecting that concern. The government doesn't seem to be reflecting that concern. So they keep telling us everything's fine, don't worry about anything, and yet our wallet, our checkbook, all of our customers, they're all telling us, no, we have serious problems. We're going to have to take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk about other solutions.
Yeah.
Here's a $10 bill. It's got the picture of Alexander Hamilton on the front of it. It's kind of sad. When I was 10 years old, everything that I could buy for $1 now costs about $10. That's the cost of inflation. It's just paper. It's not backed by anything. You can't exchange it for gold and silver. You used to, but you can't do that anymore. And that's unfortunate. Pirates wouldn't accept this. Pirates, they wanted gold and silver. Patriots, the founders of this nation, also wanted gold and silver coin. In fact, they put a provision in the Constitution, 17 words, that said states could only make gold and silver coins tender within the states. That's why I wrote this new book, Pirate Money, Discovering the Founders' Hidden Plan for Economic Justice and Defeating the Great Reset. It will explain exactly the history of money and exactly why gold and silver coins can be made modern with new technology and a useful monetary system. PirateMoneyBook.com. The American economy has been the strongest economic engine in the history of civilization. The American free market economy has lifted more people out of poverty than any other economic model, and the American people have produced more medical and technological innovations that improve the quality of life for all mankind than any other society. Government agencies were created to protect and preserve freedom, including the free market. But in today's world, they hold it back. Get government out of the way. Let freedom ring once more, and we'll see prosperity that overcomes the deep fiscal crisis that our government has created. That's the story of this month's Freedom Economic Index Survey, the FEI. We've got Andrew here. You and Public Square produced this survey.
Yeah.
Those are the conclusions.
It is, and it's amazing, and it should be encouraging because there are more Americans that agree with us than that don't, right? And so this Freedom Economy survey is really the first of its kind voice for businesses that want to, whether it's people in D.C., whether it's people in state legislatures, whether it's the media, all of a sudden they need to pay attention because this is a big group of people and it's growing all the time. I think we're running this month's survey here next week, and we have over 70,000 businesses. So the size of the movement is growing exponentially. And I'm going to encourage people, if you are a business and you want to participate in the Freedom Economy Index, you can get on publicsquare.com. publicsq.com. You can get on there for free, and then you're going to be able to participate in this survey. Or you can go to RedBalloon.work and sign up. You don't even have to buy job postings. You don't even have to buy any of the services, but then you're going to be part of this freedom economy. You're raising your hand and saying, I want to stand with the people who are working hard to save this nation and get back to what made America great in the first place.
You know, what you're doing, it reminds me of that old YouTube video where there was the one person and thought, look at the idiot dancing out
That's
there
right.
by themselves.
That's right.
And you're laughing at them, and eventually people realize, hey, that looks like fun, let's go do that. And that's what you're doing with freedom-loving Americans. Look at that guy, he's stupid enough to go outside of the woke. This is what the government likes, I'm staying over here. Wait, there's more going. Oh,
Yeah.
and there's more going. You're growing every month, and I'm so excited to hear about that.
Yeah, no, and I think that honestly is the solution, right? We talked about the Christmas season, that it's going to be really hard. Well, what is the solution for that kind of thing? Well, we don't have the margin as Americans anymore to waste our time on broken policies in the workplace or at the government level. We just don't have that margin anymore. We're very tight in our economic condition right now. And so our encouragement to businesses is you need to be hiring people who are going to show up and work really hard and are not going to spend all their time whining about the latest political fad and their pronouns and DEI or ESG.
You have to be productive.
We have to be productive. And that's how we get past this. We need to get back to productivity. But again, this is the tale of two economies. A lot of these red companies and red states, they are productive. And so they're actually doing better, even in this horrible economic condition with all the stupidity coming out of DC. And so if you're a business, you need to be hiring the type of people who are going to show up and work. They're going to be cheerful about it. They're going to take care of your customers. They believe capitalism is a good thing. When you hire those type of people, you will be shocked at what a difference it makes to your business, because you get one bad culture fit in your business and the productivity will go down for everyone. We actually did a study, and you can find it on our blog, of the cost of a bad hire, a bad culture fit. And it is between $15,000 and $20,000
Wow.
if you get the wrong person inside your four walls, because not only is it going to cost you in that that person isn't going to work very hard, they're going to give your customers a bad experience. Every other employee is going to be like, are we going to offend this person? Like, what's going to happen? And then you as the boss, we found a lot of studies showing that you're going to spend up to 20% of your time redoing the work that person did badly. Businesses cannot afford that in this economic condition. We need to be laser focused on bringing value to our customers, on taking care of our employees, and driving value for our shareholders. Anything else is merely a distraction that might cost you your business. And so that's what RedBalloon.work does. Is we bring you those type of people. People are going to build your culture, not wreck it.
Now, I've got two thoughts that emanate from this, and I want to share both of them with you. Number one, I know that you work with Hillsdale College, and Dr. Larry Arnn has been a friend for a long, long time, 30 plus years. He told me in 2008, when we had the financial crisis, that when everybody was saying, hunker down, don't expand, don't do anything, don't spend any money, that the smartest thing he ever did was he said, okay, I'm going to go to Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity, and I'm going to double up my advertising instead of cutting back. And of course, now we know Hillsdale is perhaps the greatest college in America. And because of that one single decision. So your employers right now might have the ability to go out and find this amazing talent that they might not otherwise be able to get. And if we have another boom, they wouldn't be able to get them at the opportunity that they have now. And they could expand because we know our marketplace is growing. So that's the first thing.
Yep, 100%.
Second thing is, we gave you a copy of the book Pirate Money. I want you to read it, because could you imagine if every one of your employers had the option of paying their employees not just in US dollars, but in gold and silver.
Yeah.
Made it completely legal, it's completely constitutional, and your employees could spend it as gold and silver. They'd still have to pay tax on it for income taxes, but if the gold appreciates because of $34 trillion in debt, because of mass inflation, because of the things that we're seeing, they don't have to worry about their income being tied to the US government paper fiat money. Their income can be tied to something tangible, that's biblical, that's constitutional money. That system can be set up. And we have 18 states looking at using pirate money, gold and silver coins, under the Constitution. Article 1, Section 10 says, no state shall make anything but gold and silver coin tender. A state can make it tender. Your employers could then pay employees in gold and silver. They could hold it in gold and silver till they needed to spend it so they wouldn't be subject to the same problems of inflation.
Oh, it'd be amazing. And I mean, you see these countries in South America that have 10% inflation per month. Right? Think what that does to your business, to your employees, to your savings, to your ability to prosper at all in our economy. And obviously, cryptocurrency is trying to check this box. But what I love about gold and silver is it has a real value. Like it's real, right?
It's historic. It's tangible. It's biblical.
Real, it's biblical. All of these things I love about that. And so I think increasingly employers are going to start to look at different things. You know, the first point there, anytime there's disruption, that's an opportunity for opportunity, right? There's opportunities out there. And I think there's opportunities to think differently about how you pay your employees, about what kind of employees you hire. You can get great talent right now on RedBalloon.work because there's an economic disruption that's happening all around, and it could be the best thing that happens for your business.
RedBalloon.work. We want to partner with you, have you back again in the Economic War Room. We want to make employees and employers eligible for a free economic system, including real money, tangible money. So we'll have you back. I'm so thrilled to share all of this with you in our free economic battle plan. You can get it at EconomicWarRoom.com, and you'll have access to the survey and all the results. Remember, what we see as a marketplace, our enemies view as a battle space. This is Kevin Freeman from the Economic War Room.